Hello, headbangers and nonces of the internet, and welcome to If I Like Metallica and Slayer, What Next? I mean, it's the first video on this channel, so it's like I go one of two ways. First way is I keep doing this for many years and I get thousands of subscribers, and people will love me and I'll become a respected figure of wisdom in the metal community, much like Blackmetalwerewolf, CountBlagorath, Color Killer Nation, all of these people. Or I make this one video, lose motivation, and my friends in 10 years time will dig this up and laugh at it, and it will be collecting dust on YouTube servers for years. I mean, hopefully the first option is what happens, but it felt right at the time, so I'm doing it. Alright, so I'm making this video for one reason. Many years ago, I'd say probably around sort of 5-6 years ago, I was really into Metallica and Slayer, like massively. I knew, most of their stuff, and I was really like obsessed with them, especially Metallica, and also like the rest of the big four, and some of the other bands like from that scene. So Testament, Death Angel, Exodus, etc. But making videos on them would be way too long, so I'll probably do them in separate ones. But this one we're focusing on Metallica and Slayer, and I wanted to listen to more thrash because that was my favourite genre, but I didn't really know where to go with it because there were so many other bands. I didn't really know which one to start off with, so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing this for you. So if you're a seasoned thrasher and your favourite band isn't on this list, don't scream at your computer going, oh, don't put this band in there, you dickhead. What the fuck are you doing? I don't do that because chances are I listen to them. Just it'll be way too long to put all of them in one video. Now I've got this disclaimer out the way, we'll begin. Right, so if you like Metallica, the first band that I recommend that you listen to, if you're very new to metal and you don't know any band outside the big four, first band I recommend is Testament. I recommend them because they've got similar features to Metallica. Two guitarists, a melodic voice, and a heavy drummer, and basically they've got those things, but they do it a step above Metallica. Because Chuck Billy, not only has he got a melodic, fuck me, there's some sun coming through here. Block it with my massive delts. Alright, so we've got, Chuck Billy. I mean, he does the melodic thing that Hetfield does, but he's also got a really good growl, because there's more, because in their last two albums, Dark Roots of Earth and Brotherhood of the Snake, they incorporate more death metal elements, because Gene Hoglan was in Dark Angel, and he also plays in Deathclock, the real version of Deathclock that tours. So, so basically, they've basically got like John from Dark Angel and Pickles in Testament. So there's blast beats. So their last two albums have got death metal in them. So there's Chuck Billy's growls, and there's also Gene Hoglan's blast beats, and also their rhythm guitarist Eric Peterson listens to death metal and black metal. So they'd obviously have some elements of that in there. So if you like Metallica and you want something more extreme, I definitely recommend Testament a lot, especially their last two albums and also their first three. So those would be The Legacy, New Order, Practice What You Preach, Dark Roots of Earth, Brotherhood of the Snake. Formation of Damnation's good as well, and the 90s stuff. But in the 90s, every thrash band lost focus, apart from some of them, but they stayed underground. Some of those are very good. I'll recommend those in our video. But now the next band for all you Metallica cunts is I don't know whether to recommend this really good band first or last. I really should plan this out. But the next band I recommend you listen to is Evil. Now they obviously I love these guys a lot, and obviously got the patch of them in it. They're from my city, England. Yes, England is a city now. I'm milking the Team 10 memes because they're dead, and everyone knows how much I love dead memes. But yeah, they're from the city of England. They're from Huddersfield near Manchester, and they're an insane band. Like they do what Metallica and Testament do, and they just take it to a whole new level because they've got they've got yeah, Matt Drake has got a very melodic voice, much like Hetfield and Billy, but he kind of has his own thing. Like his English accent just really like shines through. He's not trying to copy them. He has his own style, but it does sound like it's got that kind of raspy, that kind of, yeah. It also has a bit of Slayer in the vocals as well, especially on their first album, Enter the Grave. But yeah, they are really good. Album I recommend you listen to is Five Serpents' Teeth, because that's got perfect blend of like thrash and melody, and because like I mean honestly it's so Metallica-ish that when Evil released Five Serpents' Teeth in 2011, that was also when Metallica were saying that they're going to make a new album. So as a result, people were taking the Evil songs, re-uploading them, and calling them Metallica songs. And those dumb and you know, and those dumb wankers on YouTube actually believed them. That's how Metallica like they sound, but they have their own thing, and they're absolutely insane band. They're all my favorites at the moment, and you know, their former lead guitarist, Old Drake, you know, he's responded to me on Instagram a couple of times, and I have a mate who has a mate who knows him, so I've definitely you know, I know quite a bit about Evil, and they're a really good band, and literally you don't even have to be a Metallica fan. You literally, like any metalhead in the entire world, listen to Evil. Seriously, it will change your life. Speaking of changing your life, the other band I'd recommend for Metallica fans is Vader. Now, yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is for thrash metal bands, but Vader's death metal. What the fuck are you doing, you British cunt? Nah. Vader, they are what Metallica should have become, because they've got the chunky riffs, like you know Peter Vilcharik's got some really like good riffage going, just like Hetfield has, and his sense of rhythm on guitar is really good, and their leads, made by evidenced by Spider, they are really good. They're very Kirk-like, but they've also got a Morbid Angel kind of melody to it, and their drums, you know, their drummer James Stewart, he's really good, and their other drummer who quit, he didn't quit. They've had loads of drummers that quit, but the one drummer that stands out to me the most is Doc. He died. I can't remember what he died of, but he died, and if he hadn't died, he would have, you know, he'd been there since the beginning, and he was an insane drummer. So, and also like, and also the voice, also Peter's voice, it sounds a lot like Hetfield's, but it's a lot deeper, and it sounds really natural. It just sounds like he's talking, and it's just so brutal. So I definitely recommend you check out Vader. Like, you know, they're the band to listen to before you die. I recommend the albums. The Art of War, it's an EP, but it's a really good EP. It's like literally there's good stuff all the way through. Welcome to the Morbid Reich and TBA Igni. They're their best albums. I mean, I'd also recommend Necropolis, XXV, which is their old stuff, but re-recorded with modern production, and also Litany. They're really good. And another band which you probably already heard of, but I'm going to include them anyway, is Machine Head. Now, Machine Head, they're like Pantera, but they've got like a sort of, but they're from California, so they're not redneck. They're basically, it's Pantera's sound, but with Metallica's attitude. So there's a lot more like melody and more complex melody there, and you know the grooves are good, and you know vocals are nice and angry, and you know James Hetfield, he heard Aesthetics of Hate on Liquid Metal, which is Jose Mangin's radio show, and he loved it so much he actually put Machine Head on tour with them. So you know if Hetty likes Machine Head, then you should too. Even though Rob Flynn, he's a bit of a dickhead, because like his political views are very like SJWE, and he jumps on bandwagons and he starts hate trains against people, mainly Phil Anselmo. I don't want to get involved in this, but he definitely like is a huge drama queen, and it doesn't put me off, because it doesn't matter what someone's views are. If they make good music, they make good music, so you listen to it. But yeah, that's for Metallica. Now, for Slayer, I recommend you listen to Christian, because they've got that, like, because this is Slayer, but it's death metal, and they've got a Pantera type groove there as well. And if you like the old school Slayer stuff, I would also recommend you listen to Dark Angel, because they've got old school sound, old school guitar tone that's all buzzy, and they've got a dark vibe. And Gene Hogan from Testament and Deathclock, that was actually the band that made him. So he was doing his double bass in 1986, so he was one of the pioneers of it. Pioneers in extreme metal, because obviously drummers were doing double bass way before he was. But yeah, it is a really good. Darkness Descends is a really good album. One of the best of the 80s. There are loads of like issue for like for Slayer. I could just name every single death metal band, every old school death metal band, because but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to make the list too long. But for thrash, I'd recommend for Slayer fans Suicidal Angels, because they've got the Slayer thing, but it's also melodic, so there's a bit of Crater in there as well. But they are a really good band, and they make some awesome music. Albums I recommend are Division of Blood and Bloodbath. Anyway, this has been Shezer. You know, be sure to smash that motherfucking like button. Peace.